Hello and welcome to IPL Weekly Season 11, Episode 1. It's our first edition, our post-draft edition. Super excited to be back for another season of the IPL. IPL Weekly is brought to you by the IPL Sportsbook. Use code MAKEITRAIN to get up to $200 in bonus bets. Make sure you go check it out and bet on some IPL games. I'm joined by Griffin here, coach of the Atlanta Altarias. How you doing, Griffin?
I'm doing great. Super excited for this season, and I heard that you just bought a couple switches that you're going to give out to the first and second place. So that makes it even more exciting.
Yeah, I don't know about that. What's crazy is I was able to get three, and I'm not like reselling them or anything. I got one for myself, one for my brother who was trying to get it, and one for my friend who was like online at 11 p.m. that night and just did not get into any of the pre-order lists. So I definitely got very fortunate that night, but I did promise my friend that I would deliver it to him, and he's already paid me, so I don't think I can give it to the IPL winner. But not,
Well, I mean, if you and your brother could be in the finals, and then
that's true.
Be okay.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, maybe we need some sort of well, you know what we used to do is we used to put little star U's above a logo if you won a title. I think we should actually bring that back. Like if soccer
that would really motivate me.
Yeah.
To be honest.
You know how like when a soccer team wins the Champions League or a World Cup, they get a little star over their logo. It's like a little badge of honor.
Yeah, not a soccer guy, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Well, it exists, so maybe we'll use Minior. It's a better looking Pokemon for that kind of thing. But anyway, yeah. So we're here for season 11. It's our biggest. I think it's the biggest the league has been in quite some time. We have 12 coaches this year. I think it's going to be the most competitive season probably in IPL history. A lot of great coaches. And just for those of you who maybe are watching, I know there's a couple of you who aren't coaches who are in the draft. Every team got 110 points to work with. And actually, let me bring up the draft board here. We had these tiers. We had the 20-point tier, which is kind of like, I guess, our pseudo Uber tier, which came with some restrictions on what you could do Terra-wise. And then, 18 and on. We do have Terra in this league, so Pokemon under 11 points and under can Terra. If you did draft a 20-pointer, only Pokemon 9 points and under can Terra. Coaches got either 22 or 20 points for their Terra budget. And 3 Terra captains, which we'll go over. So I'm just going to go in order here. My team happens to be first in the document here. So we'll start with my team. I had the second pick in the draft. I ended up going with Darkrai. And up here on the document, these are listed by speed, not draft order. If I scroll down here, though, actually, it is in draft order. So you can see I drafted Darkrai first overall. Palafin ended up falling to me. It was not in my plans, but it fell to me at pick 23. So I took Palafin, then Jirachi, Amoonguss, Hitmontop, Rotom Heat, Garchomp, Avalugg, Diancie, Regigigas, and Trapinch. And I do have four Terra Captains, because if you have a one-pointer, you can make it a Terra Captain. I have Hitmontop, which is my first Terra Captain, and that can Terra into Fighting, Steel, and Ghost. I then have Diancie, which can Terra into Fairy, Water, and Steel. And then I have Avalugg, which can Terra into Ice, Water, and Ghost. And then finally Trapinch in Ground, Bug, and Stellar. But, I have 3 base 100 speeds, which is kind of funny. But I actually think the speed tiers kind of worked out. I don't have anything in the 110, 115 area, but I think it's okay. But I'm excited to use this team. It's a lot of really interesting mons, I think. And Darkrai and Palafin are 2 of my favorite Pokemon, and it's not often that you're able to use them in Draft League. So I just, took a chance and drafted both of them.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped for you. Mostly because I don't see Corviknight, and I feel like you've been drafting these kind of more defensive teams.
Yeah.
And I think this one makes a lot more sense for this generation.
Yeah.
But Yeah, and so I think you're gonna do quite well with this one.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, I think like Corviknight is just such a good Pokemon, and whenever it's there in like round 3, it's a Steel type that can defog. And
Yeah.
there's so little removal in this generation that I was always tempted to take it. And then I was like, oh, my Tinglu's there in like round 5. I gotta take Hazards or like Lamora or something. But I feel like I'm much more of a probably between like a balanced offense and a hyper offense player. Like that's kind of my style, and I feel like this team definitely caters to that. And I don't want to give too much away, but I feel like there's a lot of different strategies. Like this team is pretty, I think, malleable around the 3 biggest hitters in Darkrai, Palafin, and Garchomp. Sure. And even Garchomp and Palafin can be run in different ways. But Jirachi is something I targeted pretty early. I mean, it's a 12-pointer, which I think is really great value for its. It has great typing. Steel Psychic is really good typing. And then obviously you can run it physically or specially. On the offensive side, it also gets Stealth Rock, T-Wave, Wish, Healing Wish. So a lot of really good utility as well. And then Rotom Heat as an 11-pointer, I also think is really good value. It can be offensive, or it can be physically or specially defensive, and just gives a little switch initiative. And then, I drafted a Moongus because I wanted a reliable way to put Pokemon to sleep with Darkrai, just to see if there's anything I could do with that, if I could get Bad Dreams to proc once or twice this season. But also, I think it's just a solid Pokemon with the team that I had already drafted, which was Darkrai, Palafin, Jirachi, Amoonguss. It resists Grass and Electric, it resists Fairy and Fighting. And it's a poison type that can take ground type hits. And then, of course, if you're running a more offensive team, just having Regenerator is useful because you don't have to have, rather than having like multiple walls that need to heal up, Amoonguss can take hits and then come back in. So
it's not like a traditional pivot, but it's nice because this generation is very much like make a big hit, survive a hit harder.
Right.
So like that one can come in, take a hit, switch back out. So
right. And foul play.
I like it a lot.
Foul play gives it a good counter to things that want to set up physically. Yeah. I mean, removal
Black
is tough.
Is a Moongus.
Yeah. There you go. Wise Glass is a Moongus. Yeah. Does it get any other dark type? I think it does. I can't remember what the other dark type move it gets, but or maybe I'm thinking of Brute Bonnet. I don't know. But I mean, removal again is tough this generation. So I mean, it's Hitmontop and Avalugg, but I think Avalugg at 3 points I think is great value. And then Hitmontop as a Terra Captain too. Gives it a little bit more sustainability. And then
your Steelmon with the removal is Hitmontop this season.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Terra Steel, Hitmontop. And then I have the other Terra Steel and Diancie, and then being able to just Terra Fairy and have it be the Fairy type too, Diancie that is useful. It has sky high defenses, and Diamond Storm's just a great move. And it can set up rocks too. So yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. I mean, it's going to be a tough, and we'll go over the week 1 matchups towards the end. But I think the biggest weakness on the team, in my opinion, is the fact that I only have 1 ground immunity, which is not great for week 1. But only 1 ground immunity and no resistances beyond that. So that's tough. But you know what? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah, Rotom's got to come basically every week, I think. Anybody who has any competent ground attacker, I think.
Right.
It's a really important piece.
Right. And so, that might be something I was thinking about maybe in which Grace Period is still going on, actually, so there could be additional changes. Maybe dropping Regigigas for something that levitates or flies or resists ground, but we'll see. I think I'm just going to run it, and then, I have some flexibility in the lower tiers if I want to change some stuff around, so... And I just could not.
And the most important thing is to have a fun team.
Exactly.
And this team is fun.
Exactly. I could not pass up taking Garchomp in round 7.
Yeah.
And that Pokemon is so good, and the fact that it can also set up rocks and spikes, I think, is huge, and just gives it even more use cases, honestly, because you can run it defensive too if you want to, or just bulkier in general.
Yeah, love that synergy with Palafin.
Yeah.
For having to switch out into it, and Amoonguss too. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it,
right?
I think those fit really well.
Right. I do think my team is maybe one that, on initial glance, doesn't seem that scary, but once you start prepping for the threats, there's just a lot you have to prep for, which is true with a lot of these teams. But just Darkrai, Garchomp, and Palafin are such heavy hitters. So
yeah.
Hopefully I can make it work this season. Any final thoughts on my team?
Are we gonna talk? We're gonna talk about predictions and kill leaders at the end, right?
Yeah. We'll do that at the end.
All right. I've got something related to that for your team, but I'll save it.
Okay. All right. And by the way, my team is the Green Bay Yampers. I did not say that. So, all right. We'll move on to the current champion of the IPL, Steven, or SDMD as he's known in the server, coach of the Bayern Munchlax. He had the 6th overall pick, I want to say 5th overall pick, and he ended up taking Great Tusk with that pick, running it back with Great Tusk. He has Chi-Yu, Hisuian Samurott, Zapdos, Garganacl, Scizor, Vaporeon, Ribombee, and Alolan Executor. His Terra captains are Garganacl, which are Rock, Water, and Fairy, Vaporeon, Water, Poison, Ghost, and Alolan Executor, Dragon, Fairy, Ghost. For my money, I think this is the best team in the draft, or at least the scariest team. But I think, honestly, I think it's the best team. It's really well balanced. It's a lot of bulky Pokemon that can also be offensive. He has one of the best removal. He has maybe the best removal in the game with Great Tusk, Rapid Spin. And I mean, I feel like you just go through his team, and then, I mean, I'm prepping for him week 1. I'm like, I have to prep for this. I have to prep for hazards. And then I'm like, he also has Chi-Yu. And he also has Garganacl. So I think just a really well balanced team.
Yeah, it's extremely complete. He only has one non-Terra user below 14 points.
Yeah.
And it's a Terra Band stack lead, which is pretty crazy. This team screams to me, I'm a doctor and don't want to spend too much time prepping every week, because it's pretty easy to pick what to bring,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a lot harder to prep for his team than it is for him to prep for anybody else, I think.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and there's one weakness. I think there's at least one weakness for this team, and that it's kind of slow.
It is slow. Yeah. I mean, he has the 2 base 100. I mean, Zapdos, he's probably not going to run speed in too often. But yeah, I mean, Chi-Yu, excuse me. I feel like Chi-Yu and Samurott, one of them is probably going to be scarfed pretty often. He does have the speed control in Ribombee, which is kind of nice. But, and Great Tusk can boost your energy speed, or it can Rapid Spin. But no, yeah, that is his biggest weakness for sure.
Yeah, I'm really curious what the idea will be behind it. Vaporeon's one of the Terra Mons, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm curious what the idea behind that will be. Whether it'll just be for bulk, or if there's something else to it. I currently don't see it, but I'm sure he has something.
Well, Vaporeon did get Scald back, and I think being able to burn, also just if he Terras Vaporeon into Ghost, he can stop spins with his Samurott and his Great Tusk with those hazards, or even with the Ribombee. And also, just I think Wish Pass is pretty valuable on a team like this. just wishing and flip turning. Like if you look at week 1, like Vaporeon comes in and takes like, I don't know, like an overheat or something, or an Iron Head or whatever, and is just able to wish and then flip turn, or even just straight up wish and then switch into all his Pokemon are bulky, so it just gives his team so much more sustainability. And I think like that Vaporeon was a really smart, because Garganical, you almost have to Terra it for it to last. Just giving it a partner with Vaporeon, I think, is really smart, and being able to Terra either one of them, or I guess Alolan Executor, but just Terra either one of them based on the matchup, I think will come in handy. Because, if he doesn't want to bring Vaporeon 1 week, he can just run Terra Water Garganical. He also has Hisuian Samurott, which is decently bulky, but, against teams with more hazards, or even, like, teams that want to set up T-Spikes or get Toxics off, having that Wish could be really, really beneficial. And a lot of Great Tusk's counters don't like getting burned, so just having Scald, I think, can be really good.
Yeah, no, this team looks really frustrating to play against.
Yeah.
I hope Executor comes at least a week or two. First time it's getting drafted, right? So
well,
it would be really fun to see it.
Yeah, it is kind of rough that Vaporeon is basically his grounded poison, and like his only poison type on the team.
True.
That's Terra. So I think like Toxic or Toxic Spikes could be pretty good against it. The other thing too, I was getting to, but I forgot to mention, was Vaporeon and Garganical work so well together, because Garganical can eat any sort of status that might hinder Vaporeon. So I really like that. But, I do think if you want to nitpick this team, he does not have a real dragon type, I guess, which I don't think is necessary. I think a lot of people are like, no. I need my dragon steel fairy core and my water fire grass core. But Steven, he has Scizor, which is a really good steel type, but obviously not super bulky on the special side. And then you have Rabombi, not a defensive fairy type, and then Alolan Executor. So I do think the type diversity is not that great on his team, but ultimately I don't really think it matters if you're going to bring the same 6 or 7 Pokemon every week that do their job and do it well. So I'm interested to see how
it was similar to his team. It was similar to his team from last year.
Yeah.
Which won, right? Where
yes.
There was like 4 or 5 Pokemon that came to every game, and then like swapped out the last couple too.
Right. And I think it did work. And I think Rabombi can actually do a little bit more for this team than just being a sack lead. Quiver Dance is pretty. It's good. It also gets access to things like U-Turn and Stun Spore.
I think Specs is coming at least 1 week for
sure. Yeah. So definitely interested to see. Zapdos losing Defog definitely hurts it. But just being able again to like have it, you can run heavy duty boots, or you can even run like Rocky Helmet static against physical attackers. Could be really, really annoying. But not having a steel type or a fairy type, like, he doesn't take special fairy hits super well. Obviously Vaporeon exists, so Vaporeon can take any special hit well, but and I think that's the idea of giving it the poison Terra type too. So definitely a really interesting team, really solid team. Steven, I think, one of, if not the best battler in the league. So
sure.
He can make a lot work, and this team is right up his alley for sure.
Yeah, one of the best battlers, arguably the best team. I think we both think it's the best team. So
yeah.
Would track to be the pick to win. So
yeah, and like the IPL Insider said, minus 250 at the IPL Sportsbook. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's go on to Zeros, a newcomer to the IPL. But I have battled Zeros before in other leagues. Very good battler. So Zeros had the
Half team.
yeah, yes. Zeros had, what pick did she have? The 6th pick, so right after Steven. And she took Goldango, Rillaboom, Greninja, Halucha, Talonflame, Sylveon, Flygon, Sudowoodo, Grafaiai, Smeargle, and Necrozma with the last pick. The Terra Captains for Zeros are Sylveon, Fairy Fire Poison, Flygon, Ground Bug Steel, Grafaiai, Normal Dark Fighting, and Sudowoodo with Rock, Ghost, and Grass. A really, really interesting team. Yeah, I mean, 5 Pokemon with above 110 speed, and then Halucha, of course, with the Unburden. I mean, it's a really cool team. There's a lot of priority on this team, too. Greninja gets Water Shuriken, Grafaiai gets Prankster, Flygon, of course, gets First Impression, Rillaboom with Grassy Glide, Smeargle can get priority if you want to run it, and Sudowoodo with Sucker Punch. So, really cool team. I'm excited to see how this one works. And I mean, it's almost perfectly speed tiered. Below 60 doesn't really matter, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I hadn't really had a chance to look at this team. This team is crazy. Like, I feel like I haven't really seen one with this kind of composition. I'm really curious to see how it does. I had Greninja last year, and that Mon is like amazing. That was my first time using it, and just the battle bond, threat of battle bond is just so much. Goldango is a first pick. I think it's a nice call. Like, I do think it deserves to be a first rounder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about Necrozma, to be honest. What does Necrozma do?
Well, Necrozma can do a lot of different things. It can Dragon Dance, it can Calm Mind, it can also... Well, I don't know if it still gets Agility. I think it used to get Autotomize. Let me check if it gets the +2 speed set up. Yeah, I don't think it gets that anymore. But it also gets Meteor Beam as well. And then its signature move, and it gets like Swords Dance. It gets a ton of setup.
On Mind, yeah, I see.
Yeah. It has 127 special attack and 107 attack, so it can be a physical or special attacker. And then Photon Geyser can be physical or special. It'll just take your highest stat and make it physical or special. So that is a really solid signature move. It's base 100 power with 100% accuracy. That takes whatever's highest, and that's your stab psychic move. It also can just be a defensive Pokemon. I mean, it has 101 defense, 89 special defense, and 97 HP. So you can run like Future Sights, Stealth Rocks. It doesn't get Thunder Wave anymore. Am I seeing that right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay, so it doesn't get Thunder Wave anymore, but it can Rocks and Morning Sun and play a little bit more defensively. It's a really good weakness.
Did you say Dragon Dance? Because it has Dragon Dance.
Yes, I did say Dragon Dance. Yep, it has Dragon Dance.
Okay.
It's a really good weakness policy user because of its ability, Prism Armor, which you take 3/4 from super effective moves. And then it just gets a ton of coverage on both sides. So, I would say it's probably a little bit over-tiered in this league, just because Matt drafted it like as, I don't know, a tier 3 one year, and it was the MVP, and I think we're all scarred. It probably is more in this generation, like a 14 or a 15 pointer, but I think on Zero's team, it makes a lot of sense, because I feel like teams are gonna maybe prep for the Unburden Halucha, but I think the great thing about this team is that's not something he needs to bring every week.
No.
which I think I really like. Rillaboom has some really nice synergy with Goldengo and Graphite Eye being able to, for the Earthquake, having Earthquakes. It also just gives a little bit more sustain, the Grassy Surge, to Pokemon like Greninja and Necrozma, and will make him harder to kill. Um, and I mean, he's just got a lot of switch initiative too. Rillaboom, Halucha, if he for some reason wants to run like Mold Breaker, Halucha with U-turn, Talonflame, Sylveon can Baton Pass, Flygon can U-turn, Graphite Eye can Parting Shot. Um, so, yeah, I mean, he can just, he can get into his threats. Um, Go ahead.
Yeah, I also I feel like a really underrated. I mean, people talk about cores with draft, like the Fairy Steel Dragon core and the Fire Water Grass core. My hot take for this generation is that the Dark Fighting Psychic attacking core is the most important core. And I don't know if other people agree with me on this, but I just think that this one is so offensive, and that having those threats wins you games in this generation. And they've got one of the best dark type attackers. One of the it seems like one of the best psychic type attackers, and a crazy unburdened fighting type. So, I mean, offensively, it looks awesome.
Yeah, no, it really does. And I think like having a flame body Pokemon on a team that maybe wants to be knocked off is just really useful. Obviously, you don't want to get your heavy duty boots knocked off, but even teams that might not want to deal with physical priority, like Greninja with Mach Punch and Halucha with extreme speed, or Bullet Punch or whatever, having a flame body Pokemon is really underrated. Smeargle too. I mean, you can just bring any hazard you want. You can bring Stone Axe or Ceaseless Edge, or just set up spikes and toxic spikes and sticky web and put stuff to sleep. It's really nice. Sylveon too. I mean, I love Wish Passing. I think this generation there's not really clerics anymore because Heal Bell and Aromatherapy don't really exist. So you maybe don't see Wish Passing as much. But I think Sylveon is a phenomenal Wish Passer and a Pokemon that just has great synergy with Pokemon like Goldengo, and Flygon and Halucha. The team is interesting because it's like, aside from Rillaboom and Goldengo, the Pokemon he doesn't have insane attack stats, and I guess Necrozma too with 127 special attack, and he doesn't have, his team's not super bulky. Like Goldengo and Rillaboom are bulky for Pokemon with high attack stats and special attack stats, but again, like you're saying, you don't really need like Pokemon that are bulky and can also do a lot of damage. I think that's the way to go in this generation.
Yeah. It is pretty setup oriented. Now that you're mentioning it,
It is, yeah.
I mean, that could be a weakness if someone has good phasing. That could mess with this team a decent amount.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have just great switch-ins to hard hitters, so it's a really cool team. I hope it works. I think it has a good chance to work. I want to see Flygon do something. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. It's just
Same, man.
It's just outclassed by so much. So I'm really hoping Zeros can make Flygon work this season. And we
Well,
don't.
it's Terra Bug, so
Yeah, there's your first impression. No Terra Normal, unfortunately. But Sylveon being able to like a Sylveon with Terra Fairy Hyper Voice does a lot of damage. But also having the defensive fire and poison typing too, or I mean, even you can run offensive fire with Terra Blast. Sylveon can do a lot of damage pretty quickly. So I like it. I think Graphite Eye is really underrated, and I'm just now remembering that Grafai, I think of Grafai so much as just like a toxic parting shot prankster user. It can also encore and stuff, prankster encore,
Hmm.
which can deter other setup, but it also gets unburdened in Swords Dance, I'm pretty sure. So
Yep.
it can run Swords Dance unburdened with Gunk Shot and, you know, Power Herb Dig or something. I guess. I
Yeah.
get Power Herb Dig unburden. I hope I'm not giving any sets away, zeros, but that could be something. That would be kind of cool to watch. So, um, no, but really cool team. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. It also gets the weather, like sunny day and rain dance. I don't know if it
Right.
gets snowscape, but yeah, I think that could be like a surprise closeout games uh, play.
Oh, that's true
So
too. Yeah, that's true. Cool. All right. Moving on to Bobby and the Dallas Zebstricas. Bobby had the first overall pick and took Iron Valiant. He also took Ogrepon Hearthflame, Gliscor, Florges, Jolteon, Latias, Blastoise, King Gambit, and rounded out with Glalie. His Terra captains are Florges, Fairy Steel Ground, Jolteon, Electric Ice Fairy, and Glalie, Ice Fire Water. I think this team is phenomenal. It's really similar to Stevens in that you can just bring Valiant, Ogrepon, Gliscor, Florges, Latias, and then one of King or two of King Gambit, Blastoise, and Jolteon every single week, and it's a really really difficult team to deal with. Um, Valiant, Ogrepon, and Latias. I mean, that is and King Gambit. That's just a lot of firepower. Um,
yeah,
Gliscor gets hazards. It's really difficult to kill with Toxic Heal. Florges, massive special defense stat. A really, really great Wish Passer with the Baton Pass. Also, no slouch with its own offensive stat. Um, and then Jolteon, I think Jolteon used to be, back when we first started Draft League, a staple. I mean, it was one of the better electric types that existed, especially when Hidden Power was around. Terra Ice you know,
yeah,
gives it some firepower and some coverage that it's really missing. And I think Jolteon, I think, could be one of the dark horse under lower tier Pokemon this year that cleans up a lot of games for Bobby, especially if he wants to save Iron Valiant's booster energy and just get some firepower off early. He can, and he's got again another team with a lot of switch initiative. U-turn, baton pass, baton pass, baton pass, flip turn. So just really good on that front.
yeah. Florges also, I think, has the strongest Moonblast in the game after Terra Fairy.
Is that true?
So I think I'm pretty sure it's true because I drafted it, and that was my reasoning behind drafting it. I don't remember if it was last season or the season before, but crazy um, special attack stat. Well, not crazy, but pretty high special attack stack. And then Terra Fairy, I mean, what would compete with it? Enamorous?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess for Terra eligible Pokemon, because once it Terras, yeah, I mean that adds. Well, I guess we can take a look. We can do some. We can do some. I mean, Gardevoir, probably.
But it can't Terra, right? Or can it?
Gardevoir can
Is it
Terra.
11?
It just it went
Okay, then
undrafted.
never mind.
Yeah, I guess Gardevoir and Enamorous, both of them, but there are yeah. Gardevoir could only get 2 Terra types, but you're right. Like for 9 points and under, which this for Bobby, I mean, he has to have 9 points and under to Terra because he drafted a 20-pointer Iron Valiant. That's just that's really nice to have in his back pocket. Although I do think, I mean, he already has Iron Valiant. I feel like Florges will, you were able to use it offensively. He already has a pretty great offensive fairy type.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. I actually do kind of agree that. I mean, I think it's a great mon, but maybe another defogger or a grounded poison would fill that slot better. 'Cause right now Blastoise is kind of doing a lot, and you might have to run boost.
Yeah, Blastoise.
Oh, every week.
Blastoise is his only. Does Gliscor get defog still? No, it doesn't. So yeah, I mean, does Latias get defog? No, it doesn't. So yeah, that is Blastoise is his only removal. So Blastoise will have to come every week. That's the biggest weakness for the team, and no grounded poison to just get rid of toxic spikes. I do think toxic spikes are decently, they're pretty good against Bobby. But with that being said, he has two Pokemon that have Levitate or can fly. King Gambit is immune to it. I guess Glalie also gets Levitate, I think. And then Jolteon gets quick feet. If he wants to run that 1 week, that could, I guess, be a deterrence. But the Volt Absorb and the Hearth Flame and Latias, like he did a pretty good job of with King Gambit, Latias, Ogerpon, Hearth Flame, and Jolteon covering Blastoise's weaknesses. I think Blastoise is something he's going to have to hold on to in every single match. So just having switch-ins to moves that deal with Blastoise, and then all of those Pokemon having initiative or setup potential or revenge potential, I think is really, it's good team building and can maybe cover up the lack of removal on his team. And this team theoretically could just be hitting so hard that you don't have time to even get up your spikes. And he has fast taunt too, and encore on different Pokemon.
Yeah.
So that's another way to prevent hazards from getting up. So I think it's a really good team. Again, no grounded poison, no removal. That tends to be the problem with a lot of teams in this generation. It's just hard to do everything without drafting subpar Pokemon. So
Galarian Slowbro's there, just saying, before we move on. Galarian Slowbro's there at 9 points. Got Regenerator. It would be a good Terra captain.
That is true. Well, maybe we can send a memo to the Zebstrika's front office and see if that's something he wants to do. I was a little surprised with the 1-pointer he didn't go for something that could remove. Like, I think, I guess why have Quaxwell when you have Blastoise? Is there anything down there that I think Toucanon gets defogged, but again at that point, what is even the point?
No.
Is there any sort of rapid spinner?
Ramblin'.
I guess. It's 1 point for a reason.
Yeah, I don't think any of these are going to be better than bringing Blastoise every week.
No.
Cram gets defogged.
Yeah, Cram gets defogged. Well, I'm just thinking, is Glalie, what does Glalie do? So maybe just have a defogger. Noctowl, I think, also gets defogged. Why not just have that in your final slot? You know what I mean? If it's not a good Blastoise matchup. But whatever. This is great content. Toadschool. If you like Toadschool, I think Toadschool has 100 special defense.
Yeah. No, it's a good special one.
Yeah. So look at that. We found one. All right. Moving on to the commissioner. Sahil with the Milwaukee Mewers. He had the penultimate pick in the draft. In the first round, I should say. He got Corviknight, Kyurem, Landorus Therian, Slowking, Ogerpon, Wellspring, Pheasantipede, Regieleki, Incineroar, Hitmonchan, and Spidops. I genuinely think this is one of the better teams Sahil has ever drafted. Just really solid. And, full disclosure, I helped him. So I guess that's kind of me patting myself on the back. But I really like the team. I think it works well together. I think it supports Kyurem incredibly well. Again, with the switch initiative.
Hiram is so scary on this team, man.
Yeah, no, so
Yeah.
everything has switch initiative. He has two great options for removal. He can rapid spin or he can defog with Corviknight. He has Incineroar, which helps with the ice type. He has it's his only ice type resistance besides Slowking. But he got the only good freeze dryer anyway, so Slowking is an ice type resistance. But between Intimidate, Parting Shot, Slowking being able to sponge a hit, regenerate, and Snowscape, and then give Kyurem the +1 defense, and then the double Intimidate, the Mirror Armor on Corviknight too, and then he has Ogerpon Wellspring, one of the best Pokemon in the league last season, and also the fastest Pokemon in the game. And I forgot to mention he has Rapid Spin on Regieleki too. I think just a really strong, well-built, balanced team. Only one Pokemon above 15 points with Ogerpon Wellspring, but I don't think that really matters. I think it just, Kyurem could have maybe been a little bit higher. Corviknight and Landorus could have both been a little bit higher. So, I mean, he found value. I did not mention his Terra types. Sorry, Griffin, and then I'll let you get a word in. He posted his Terra types before the draft was even over. He has Incineroar with Fire, Fairy, Dragon, Hitmonchan with Fighting, Steel, Ghost, and Pheasantipity with Fairy, Flying, Normal. So, pretty cool. Two Technician users, too, in Pheasantipity and Hitmonchan. And then, of course, Spidops, the best one-pointer.
Yeah. Yeah, by far the best one-pointer. Like, that thing's actually going to come in 2 games.
Yeah.
And Kyurem was I think we definitely made a mistake. We should have put it higher. Just because this is my week 1 matchup, and I'm starting to look at Kyurem. I think we're doing my team next, and we can see how it looks into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And the one thing, he's got a pretty big gap in speed tiers between 110 and 200.
That's true. That's true. It's true. I do think, if you have something, you're looking at your team, I have something at 110, rather than drafting, Sneasel or Chinchino, which are 115, 120, or Sceptile, 120. I'm just going to take something that outspeeds everybody above that 110. It doesn't even matter at that point, because you still have to... Regieleki just outspeeds everything and most Scarfers, I think, which is really nice. And I think the really great thing about this team is that it supports Kyurem really well with being able to do chip from a bunch of different directions. It gets hazards everywhere. It can nerf Pokemon with status, and also with the Intimidates. It also, I think, the problem with Kyurem a lot of times is people draft it and they just they want to scarf it. This team doesn't need to scarf Kyurem because it has enough support where it can really set up Kyurem to come in late game and click buttons. And Kyurem with the defense buff can be really scary behind a sub. It can be really scary with Dragon Dance, and now with loaded dice, Icicle Spear is a real move that you can use and get at least 100 base damage on the physical side every single time. It has 130 attack. So, it's a really versatile Pokemon, and his Pokemon are sneaky versatile outside of that too. There's potential for him to bring crazy sets every week. And Future Sight Freeze Dry is an insane combo. And that deals with pretty much everything. So it's going to be a tough team to face.
Yeah, I think the special Kyurem is going to come. I think that one is especially scary on this team. Future Sight's my favorite move in the game. I think it's really underused and really good. And like you said, it works really well on this team. Yeah, I'm scared of this.
Well, and the thing is, Hitmonchan, I think, was a really great pick because it gave him the ability to Rapid Spin. And it also gave him... Alright, I apologize about that cut. I got a little sick there for a second. Um, well, sick meaning I needed to blow my nose. That sounds like I threw up or something. um, what I was saying was Hitmonchan, I think, was a really great pick. It's really bulky on the special side, 110 special defense. It's decently bulky. It only has 50 HP. But not only does it rapid spin, but the technician boost on... Or not technician, sorry. I said he has 2 technician Pokemon. He has 1 technician Pokemon, Pheasantipity. Hitmonchan gets Iron Fist, but he still gets a boost on Mach Punch and Bullet Punch, which could both be stab with his Terra types. And I think that covers that both of those priority moves also really help to support Kyurem, which is what this whole team is really about. So I like it. Any other thoughts? I mean, we can come back to it when we talk about the matchup. Too.
Yeah, no, I don't want to. I also don't want to like give away too much about what I'm thinking about this game.
No, that's fair. That is fair. All right, well, let's talk about your team, which was what? You're the coach of the Atlanta Altarias.
Yes.
Seventh pick. So you went with Raging Bolt in the first round, followed by Qian Pao, Empoleon, Galarian Weezing, Paldean, Tauros Blaze, Tornadus Therian, Crocodile, Colossal, Mesprit, and Appleton. Your Terra captains are Mesprit, Psychic Fairy Steel, Tauros, Fire Fighting Grass, and Colossal, Fire Water Grass. So why don't you tell us just about your team building process, what your initial thoughts are for how your team turned out.
Yeah, so I took Bolt first round just because I think it's cool, and I wanted to try it with the special Sucker Punch and just sweet design. And then same story to you. It's the 20-pointer. Just fell to me in the second round, and I was just like, I've never used Qian-Pao, but people say it's broken, so I just thought, all right, I'll draft it and see what happens. And then I just kind of tried to build around that core. So I've got my bulky water flip turner. I've got my regenerator, do everything Mon and Tornadus. And then I got Galarian Weezing, which I always want. I feel like always gets sniped, but it I feel like that's like just like that's my like switch into anything Mon. And then for some reason I'm the only one who likes Colossal, and I keep drafting it, and it keeps being great every season for me. I mean, nothing like spectacular, but it's always just like such a great role player. Crook's versatile. Tauros Blaze, I was really excited to try because I think it's just one, it can be defensive as a Terra type with Intimidate, but I also think it's like a really big offensive threat with 100 base speed, and maybe like Terra Fire, Flare Blitz, or Raging Bull, Terra Fighting, close combat. Those are significant threats. And then we were talking about the Terra Grass Trailblaze set, which I also think is really interesting. And then Mesprit is a Terra captain. Levitate is really nice for my team. Terra Fairy Draining Kiss is nice. Terra Psychic Future Sight, it gets Healing Wish, which is what differentiates it from the other of the Lake Trio, in my opinion. And then Appleton, you helped me make that last pick. Which Walls, great touch. Shocked me.
I think Appleton is really slept on because it's a super bulky grass dragon type, so it resists a ton of stuff, and it also has thick fat, and then it also has Leech Seed and Recover. So, and Apple Acid is a phenomenal move. Like, just being able... It doesn't matter if something resists grass-type moves. It comes in and you're -1 SPDF. Totally. So, I'm really excited about that one.
And generally my team-building philosophy, and like, week to week and drafting, is just draft everything like I'm gonna bring it
Mm-hmm.
every week,
Mm-hmm.
and like, and I think I've shown that like in the past seasons that I'm willing to bring my low tier mons like over half of the week, and I just really value having that flexibility. So, um, yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Were you thinking about taking Slowking? Is that something that you wanted early on?
Sorry, who?
Slowking?
I was thinking about it a little, but I actually went with. I can't remember if I think I did Empoleon before Slowking went, or maybe it's the other way around. Either way, by the time Slowking was picked, I had decided on Empoleon. I just like the flip turn aspect, and I've used it before. And the competitive boost also dissuading, intimidate,
Yeah.
and just a steel type, bulky water and bulky steel all in one. Um, and it's not passive. So uh, yeah, I just decided that was the direction to go, but I was definitely considering Slug.
Yeah, I mean, I think this team, if there are certain weeks where like you maybe could use Snowscape, so that's why I was asking, just because
Yeah,
like
but
Weather Ball.
Chien-Pao is like pretty
No, it doesn't need it. Yeah, it's pretty.
frail.
Well, I was just because of Weather Ball.
Oh,
It
yeah.
could be
On
interesting. On Bolt and on Tornadus.
Yeah.
And I think Empoleon also gets Weather Ball, but I mean that gets Ice Beam, so it doesn't really matter.
Sure.
But yeah, no. Actually, does Bolt get Weather Ball? Am I making that up? I think okay. You know what? Bolt
I think
doesn't.
it does.
Oh no. Yes, it does. It does.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. Empoleon gets Snowscape. That's why I was confused. So yeah, no. I mean, yeah, Chien-Pao. What if you get a little defense? I mean, it could matter. You know, it has 80 HP and 80 defense, so it's not terrible defensively.
Maybe.
But no, that's why I was just. But I think I really like the Mesprit pick. I think Mesprit is super underrated. Just Nasty Plot, Bolt Beam, and Psychic Stab. I think is just really good. From a Pokemon with what 105? Yeah, 105 special attack.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of I never understand why it gets Fire Punch but not Flamethrower, but they gave Ozelf Flamethrower. But I guess they just had to give Ozelf something. But just really great coverage. You know, it can also U-turn T-Wave, set up rocks as well. So I really like that. Like you said, the Levitators you have, and you know the Flying type with Tornadus. Another just like I don't want to say deceptively bulky, but just a bulky team that outputs a lot of damage. Colossal, yeah, I mean it's a with Terra, it's so much better, and I feel like people treat it like it doesn't have Terra, and you don't even necessarily have to Terra because, again, I mentioned it earlier, but Flame Body is such a phenomenal ability.
Yeah.
And then if you, I guess, want to run Steam Engine, you could. But I don't think that's gonna happen.
I haven't yet.
Yeah. And you know, if Glittering Wheezing, you don't have to run Levitate on it. You could run Misty Surge. It's a pretty good ability. Neutralizing Gas, also a pretty good ability against maybe some teams we'll talk about later, or bulkier teams with unaware Pokemon or Magic Guard Pokemon.
Yeah.
So it's a really versatile Mon. And you know, another a Pokemon that can Will-O-Wisp and Defog. So yeah, I mean, I think you also have a few Pokemon with Pain Split, right? Like Mesprit gets Pain Split, Glittering Weezing gets Pain Split.
Yeah.
So, you know, a little bit more sustained than meets the eye. And you know, TRT hates Crocodile, so I'm hoping you can prove him wrong this year, and show off Crocodile. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we barely talked about Chien-Pao, but just a phenomenal Pokemon.
Yeah. It just doesn't do that much. It
does the same thing.
Few things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dark move, Ice move hits really hard. Ice Shard priority, Sucker Punch priority. Yeah, like I feel like it's kind of hard to run Scarf against my team, which I like. Because of Sucker Punch, Thunderclap.
Yeah.
And I also think Weezing is one of the best. Glaring Weezing is one of the best counters to Jin Pao, and so I like having it on my team.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. It really is. So, I think I always love doing that, getting the best counter and putting it on your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Raging Bolt, the only Pokemon in the game that gets Rising Voltage. So, I don't know. Maybe you can make that work at some point this season.
I will think about it. I did not know that it had it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a phenomenal move.
Pincurchin got drafted.
Pincurchin did get drafted, yeah. You'd have to manual set up. But it does boost.
Or hope they bring it against me.
That's true, too, yeah. That is true. Alright, let's move on to Austin and the San Francisco Sirens. He drafted Terapagos, Annihilape, Iron Crown, Ogerpon, Azumarill, Cyclizar, Iron Bundle, Sandaconda, Charizard, Thwackey, and the Electrode. Austin's Terra captains are Iron Crown with Steel Fire Ground, Electrode, Electric Flying Ice, and Cyclizar, Dragon Ghost Steel. Iron Crown, I think maybe the best Terra user, offensive Terra user that got drafted. At least off the top of my head.
I mean, that was my first round pick last season.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I mean, just a great Pokemon. I think if you look at this team initially, it's like, okay, there's like Charizard and Thwackey and Electrode. Like, what are they doing there? But I don't really think it matters. Like, you have Terapagos, Annihilape, Iron Crown, and Iron Bundle. You have those four. And then you also have Ogerpon and Azumarill and Cyclizar and Sandaconda, and like those can just rotate out based on the matchup. Really, really scary team. And it's a team that I really dislike playing against teams that you're afraid to like use a move into, like Terapagos with his ability,
yes.
Where it gets, it resists the first move from anything. Annihilape, obviously if you hit it, it boosts up its Rage Fist. Ogerpon too, he has double Defiant, which if he wants to set up hazards with his Sandaconda and Ogerpon, the double Defiant is huge against the defog users. And then Iron Bundle can just clean up. So Iron Crown can come in, Annihilape can come in, Terapagos can come in, do a crap ton of damage, and then he can just clean up with Iron Bundle. Two great removal options in Terapagos. I like that he doubled up on the Rapid Spin, so if he wants to run 3 moves and Calm Mind, or 4 moves on Terapagos, or Toxic even on Terapagos, he has that option. And the low tier Pokemon, Electrode, it's kind of nice to have that speed if he feels like he needs it. With the Terra Ice, Thwackey gives his team a little bit of utility with the Grassy Surge. It can boost Ogerpon's Ivy Cudgel, and it can also Ogerpon does get access to Grassy Glide, so I hope that happens. That comes out this season. That would be pretty cool. And of course, it gives Iron Crown the resistance to, or not the resistance, but takes half damage from Earthquake too with that. So, I think at first glance, I was like, I don't really know how to feel about this team. But after I looked at it again, I'm like, I actually really like it, and I think it can do a lot of work.
Yeah, it's growing on me. I think Crown is super important for the Toxic immunity, because otherwise I feel like you click Toxic into this team very often.
But how many reliable Toxic users are out there? I mean,
no, not that many.
And like we went through a bunch of teams that didn't even have a Poison type.
Yeah, totally.
But
totally.
I mean, you're right. Yeah,
Toxic
does. Yeah, Toxic does. You're right though. Toxic does kind of hurt this team. I mean, even Will-O-Wisp too. I think that's an even bigger deal. But he has
Shed Skin Sandaconda.
Yeah, he has Shed Skin. Yeah, he has Shed Skin. He has, I mean, Iron Crown's a special Pokemon bundle. I mean, you're not really switching that into anything. But yeah, I do feel like he might be better served in having a more traditional bulky water type. I think Azumarill is super scary, but I don't really know what role it's going to fill on this team, and he might feel like, okay, I need to bring Cyclizar for spin and Sandaconda this week, and Azumarill is the one that gets left out, and I think that might happen kind of often. So I think that would be my biggest issue with this team. Like, he already made some grace changes, but maybe, getting a bulkier, maybe a cheaper, bulkier water type, and then getting some better lower tiers with Charizard and Thwackey, and like boosting those, maybe finagling the points there. But, I think the core that he's going to bring every week is really scary. And a team... It's a team that makes you, like, you can't just blindly defog, you can't just blindly attack. You have to really think about what you're doing, and in a league full of teams with Pokemon that just click buttons, as they say, it's really nice to have a team that might give you pause, and be like, okay, I really have to think about, do I want to use this move if an Annihilate can come in? If Sahil's playing him, am I bringing double Intimidate this week when he has 2 Defiant users? Like, stuff like that. So that's what I really like about this team. And Terapagos, just a phenomenal Pokemon. I hope that...
another one that we may be underrated.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think it was underrated last season, and then we just didn't tier it up. That's... I think one of the things I really like about our league is, like, tiers just have Easter eggs. And, like, it's like, okay, if you get that Pokemon, then it's to your benefit. And I think that's something that's always existed in this league, and I kind of like that. Just, like, being thorough in when you're looking through the dock and finding hidden gems. I really like that, and, like, it's stuff that I didn't even consider necessarily before, even though, like, you and I are kind of created these tiers. Like, there's just stuff that we missed that it's not like, it's not like we under-tiered Terapagos and we took it. It's just like, oh, we kind of just forgot about it. I really like that about our league. All right.
That was the first round pick, right?
Terapagos was the first round pick, yeah, and then he got Annihilate and Iron Crown, so and he did get Azumarill early, and then he was like, oh, Iron Bundle's available, so maybe that's why he's holding on to Azumarill. It is his fairy type, so there just aren't many. There aren't great fairy types out there, so I get why he
just run Terra Fairy on Iron Crown and drop the Azumarill. That's what I would do. I was thinking about his team too in certain matchups, and I was thinking, oh, maybe I want to run Stab Stipper Azumarill, and at that point, you need a different mon. I feel like.
No, that's fair. I mean, Tinkaton is there. I think that could be an interesting Pokemon on his team, especially with the Terra.
No, that would be awesome.
With the Terra ability, even an Therian, I think, has the ability to Terra on his team if he wanted to pair that with Iron Crown. And it also gives him Levitate and some bulk. Dondozo, I think, would actually be kind of crazy on his team. So, I mean, like, I think there are options there. But I also get, like, I want to use some of these Pokemon, so let me use them for a little while. And I get why he wants the priority with Aqua Jet, because outside of Grassy Glide, he doesn't really have priority. And we did not touch on Charizard, but, it can do stuff. I mean, it can Belly Drum. That Belly Drum sub Salic Berry set's one of my favorite. Or Flame Charge, even. Flame Charge Belly Drum. I love that set. So, we'll see if Charizard does some stuff this season.
it's got the stats to do something, right? So
Yeah.
I just think you just need to keep everything clear for
Right.
it.
Right. It's not Terra. It's not Terra user. So that we'll see. We'll see what he does. Like that's the thing though. Like if he dropped the Zoomerol and went with maybe a cheaper water. Like if he dropped the Zoomerol, Thwacky, Charizard, and even Electrode, I think he could maybe put some stuff together to make his team even scarier. Um,
Agreed.
but again, I really like the core.
Yes, agreed.
All right, we have Matt and the coach of the Toledo Team Rockets, and definitely with the wackiest and maybe my favorite, just favorite in terms of like what team tickles me the most. This is probably my favorite team. He has Meowscarada, Iron Treads, Rotom Wash, Hoopa Unbound, Noivern, Iron Thorns, Iron Moth, Pincurchin, Screamtail, and Glimmet. Noivern is flying normal Fire Terra. Iron Thorns is Electric Grass Fairy Terra. Pincurchin is Electric Fairy Ground Terra. And Glimmet is Rock Steel Flying Terra. Glimmet probably the second best one-pointer. I've used it in a couple leagues. It's really solid.
Really great.
Yeah, I love this team. I feel like Matt's either gonna cook or he's gonna go 1-11 or 1-10 with this team. But knowing Matt, he might cook. So also, can we just take a second to appreciate this logo? Just a phenomenal logo. The University of Toledo is the Toledo Rockets, so Toledo Team Rockets.
Oh, that.
He's got.
Yeah, see, I'm not an Ohio guy.
Yeah.
Originally, so.
It's Jesse James Meowth. Just a cool logo. Anyway, this team, again, wacky. Love Terra Noivern Boomburst. I want to see Iron Thorns work so badly. I think that Pokemon has so much potential.
Dude.
And I think we tiered it in such a way that we were begging people to pick it. Like I think it's really good value.
Yeah.
And so with the Pincurchin support, and with being able to Terra, I hope it can do some stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think he rounded out the team pretty well with like Screamtail, which can Encore and Wish and Stealth Rock and T-Wave and stuff, and he has Rotom, which is decently bulky too, and gives him some switch initiative. Meowscarada is just a phenomenal Pokemon. So, and Treads too. So, and Moth. Look, that's the thing. This team just, if he can make this electric terrain work, he has three Pokemon that benefit from the terrain, or that ability. Its ability.
Four, I would say. Yeah.
Four. Which is the fourth?
Well, Rotom. With
yeah.
Boosted Volt Switch. Well,
Yeah.
actually, it's Levitate. Does it not get?
I can never remember which ones. There's certain terrains where the Pokemon that's getting hit has to be on the ground, and there's certain Pokemon. I think Electric Terrain, you have to be on the ground.
Yeah, I think so too.
But Iron Moth gets like Discharge and Charge Beam too.
Yep.
So. And
Moth is a really good Mon, dude.
Yeah.
Moth is a really good Mon. It's it's maybe the best spectral attacker in the format.
Yeah. Well, and Meowscarada, like, Stab, Protean, Thunder Punch in terrain is going to hit really hard, which helps it deal with a lot of its counters, actually.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know. I just love this team. I really hope it works.
Yeah, it's pretty high variance, like you were saying, I think. I'm a big Screamtail believer.
Yes, yeah.
Huge fan. I just think it's just like such a good blue piece. Really like heavy wishes with a lot of HP, and fast Encore.
Right.
Just think, it's
Right.
so important.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think Wish with this team is going to be incredibly important. I just because there's a few like Iron Thorns is technically bulky. Iron Moth I guess is bulky on the special side. Iron Treads too is bulky
Yeah.
on the defensive side. Hoopa is bulky on the special side, but they're just Pokemon that I think like need a little bit of extra HP, and the Wish could just, you know, just helping them stay alive, I think could be really, really good. Removal, he has Iron Shreds. Glimmet, unfortunately, does not get Mortal Spin. But I think Glimmet, yeah, I think Mortal Spin is the signature move when it evolves. But Glimmet, I think Corrosion on Glimmet and Glimora is a little slept on. And, you know, being able to Toxic Poison types and Steel types could actually really benefit Matt's team, too.
Yeah. Noivern does keep Defog, by the way.
Yes.
So, so
that's
there's
right.
two pieces of removal.
That's right, yeah. And Terra Normal Boom Burst is really powerful on Noivern. So, definitely excited to see that. I'm unsure about Hoopa Unbound. I really do not like that Pokemon.
Got 170.
I know.
Special attack.
I know.
160 attack.
And 160 attack. I'm just always. I think because it's slow and it's quad weak to U-turn.
Yeah.
It just suffers a little bit there, because really a lot of. We've been talking about Switch Initiative. A lot of things just get U-turn and can do 80% to it right off the bat, unless it's scarfed.
Right.
So I just really don't like. I've never enjoyed using it, but if used correctly, it can be it is an incredibly powerful Pokemon. So
I think that's like the theme of this team, though. I think it has like a really high ceiling, and it's like a difficult pilot.
Yeah.
Like I think, like if it's piloted well, it'll be amazing, and I think it'll be hard to do it. Not that it's impossible.
Yeah.
Of course, but I think that but it'll be like a fun challenge. So I think this is like it's a really fun team to draft.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to Critics team. What? My spreadsheet is not loading. Oh, there we go. Okay. The Texas Raging Turtwigs, or TRT, Critics team is he drafted Torkoal first, so he had the wheel pick. So I guess he drafted Torkoal and Walking Wake together, and then Hatterene, Sandy Shocks, Slitherwing, Sandshot, Tornadus Incarnate, Alolan Muck, Iron Boulder, and Earthworm. So we got a Sun team here, and his Terra captains are to be determined. We don't know yet, but a Sun team with similar to Matt's team. He has Pokemon in Slitherwing, Walking Wake, and Sandy Shocks that benefit from the Sun with their abilities. A little bit of negative synergy with the Tornadus because of its flying type, its main flying type stabs not being able to hit very accurately in the Sun, but it does get Weather Ball, so that's something. I like the Earthworm pick to cover some of the ground weakness.
That one's important.
Yeah, and get the steel, and get the hazards up. A really interesting team. Obviously, 101 to 65 speed is a steep drop. Basically, anything above 80 base speed can be Adamant or Modest, which is not great for Critics team. But on the other hand, he has 5 Pokemon above base 100 speed that can just outspeed and hit hard and get boosts on their attack or special attack. 3 of them can get boosts on their attack or special attack, or even speed in the Sun. So, definitely going to be a hard team to prep for. I don't know. I feel like I've said I've liked every team. Sorry, Critic. It's not personal. I think this is my least favorite team so far. I don't think it's definitely worse than some of the other teams we've seen. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I like some of the pieces. I think the Terra captains are probably Sinister, Tornadus, and Earthworm.
Mm-hmm.
Just because those are really the only ones that make sense, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been curious about Sinister as a Terra Captain, for the maybe like a boosted Matcha Gacha.
Yeah.
And it also gets what is it, heat proof or not heat proof, but or something like it gets resistant to fire. Um, so I thought that could be kind of interesting
It does get heat
as a
proof.
defensive piece. Yeah, that's it. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Boulder is a good mon. Um, Sandy Shocks is one of the best ground types in the format.
Mm-hmm. Dual
Both of
hazards.
them really, yeah. So I love that mon. Um, yeah, I almost kind of feel like it's like two teams smashed together, like
Yeah.
you were saying.
Well,
Yeah, like
go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, like a Sun team and then like some good mons.
Yeah, I will say I think you can maybe get caught up in the whole Sun team part that you might forget about Sinistra, Lolamuck, and Hatterene, which can kind of set up on their own right. Or not, Lolamuck can't really
Yeah.
set up, but Lolamuck is just hard to kill. So, I mean, I kind of like that. I think the best thing about this team is it's going to get hazards up and it's going to keep them up. Which I think is really, really good. I mean, Hatterene also with the magic bounce, and then he has rapid spin on his side with the Torkoal. I really like that. He's got a lot of different options for hazards. And then, it's possible that, like, First Impression and Hydro Steam in the Sun are, like, enough to win him a lot of games. And I don't think that would be that surprising if that happens. And Sinistra, like you said, is an interesting Pokemon. It has actually a decent coverage. It gets, like, Scald, and obviously they'll have Terra Blast. It gets Stored Power, too, and can Calm Mind. And then it also gets Strength Sap, which is just a great move. So... yeah, I feel like I would maybe, if I were him, maybe switch out Tornadus for something else, that kind of brings the team together. It's like a dish that doesn't really have a sauce, that kind of brings all the flavors together. And I think, like, there's an opportunity there, maybe, if you swap Tornadus for something else.
Yeah, what do you think it needs? I mean, it's meant to be a Terra Captain, right?
Yeah.
And I guess a ground immunity.
Well, let's look here. Tornadus.
It does need the ground immunity.
Yeah, I think so. Tornadus is in what tier? 9 points.
It's 9.
Does he have any points left over? Probably not, right? No, Zeros has 1 point. Austin still has a point too. So, like we were talking about, he can... I think Iron Boulder is a really good Pokemon, but maybe if I were him, I would... Where is Iron Boulder? 14 points? Like,
it's a good mon, but it's expendable.
Yeah, like, Iron Boulder and Tornadus gives you 23 points. And I think you could maybe go, like, Mandibuzz even, which does he have a...
I love Mandibuzz.
Yeah, well, I guess he has a little... I was thinking he doesn't have a dog type, but he has a little muck. I don't know, I mean, it is tough. There's not a whole lot. I mean, I think even just Venusaur, as a Terra Captain, could be really scary. And then you would still have 12 points left over, and you could get Hydreigon as AZ, or I guess Glareon, or even Azelf. I mean, I don't know if those necessarily fit typing-wise, but those are ground immunities. Skarmory is there, too. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe those options aren't necessarily better than what Critic has. But... I don't know. Well, I do think Venusaur having just base AE speed there could just help too. And Hydreigon as well to have. So having 97 base speed forces, you know, opponents with 100 base speed Pokemon to go timid, and, and jolly too. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the team can work. I'm just, you know, I would have a hard time with it.
Yeah, and I actually don't think the 2 Terra type drawback for Venusaur is that big of a deal.
It doesn't matter.
Fire.
Yeah, exactly. It does not matter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, actually, I think that can be kind of broken.
Yeah, I actually like that shout. And at that point, you know, you can finish Boulder.
Yeah, you
and
can help.
Tornadoes can all be rearranged.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know when this is actually going to come out, so we'll see if it comes out during Grace or not. Probably not. But, you know, Critic can still make the changes. Or, you know what? He makes it work, and we all have to eat crow on this show.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that happening.
Yeah, I can see it happening, too. Wait. Where's Team 9? Oh. Well. Okay. Next up is TRT, the coach. Coach of the Milwaukee Misplays. I forgot he changed his name, so I have to change the doc. My apologies. TRT drafted Enamorous, Incarnate, Sneasler, Urshifu Single Strike, Deoxys Defense, Magnezone, Dragonite, Decidueye, Milotic, Masquerain, and Squawkabilly. You know, another team that I just personally like, and then Terra Captains. TRT's Terra Captains are Magnezone, Steel Ice Ground, Decidueye, Ghost Steel Dragon, Masquerain, Flying Ghost Water, Squawkabilly, Normal Ground Ice. I believe his only removal is Defog on Decidueye. Maybe Squawkabilly gets it, not 100% sure. I don't think Enamorous gets it. I guess I can double check.
No.
It doesn't. Yeah, so.
No.
But, I mean, Enamorous, Sneasler, Urshifu, and then with Dragonite, and then you also have defensive mons like Deoxys Defense, Milotic. Magnezone can trap the steel types, which really helps Enamorous. And even Sneasler too. Yeah, it helps both of those Pokemon, so I think that's some really great synergy there. Dragonite's a great setup mon in its own right. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get Terrain for the Unburden boost, but you know, he can just close combat at White Herb. It's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I think removal is the biggest issue with this team, and not having Rapid Spin. You know, with Deoxys Defense, which gets both hazards, and also, you know, if you're bringing Masquerain one week and you're leading with it and you want to set up Sticky Webs, and then you have to defog later because your opponent has a bunch of hazards up, that could end up hurting as well. But Sticky Web, I think, is really nice to have with Urshifu, and Dragonite and Magnezone too, so I like that aspect, but I think that's my only real problem with the team, is there's no Rapid Spin. Other than that, again, like, you just look at these top 6 Pokemon, or like the top 6 plus Decidueye, Magnezone, just a really solid team.
Yeah, some of those are just, well, I don't know if you remember, but the last season he played in, he had Dragonite, and it was the kill leader.
Yes, I do remember.
So that's there, and this time it's joined by Enamorous, Sneasler, and Urshifu. So.
Yes. Yeah, no, exactly. And, you know, Magnezone, again, Steel type, being able to trap Steel types, it also helps Dragonite. It helps all of the Pokemon, all of the offensive Pokemon on his team. So I think that was a really shrewd move on his end. And, I mean, not only does Magnezone do that on its own, it can also Terra. So that with Analytic...
No ground resist Terra, which is kind of surprising to me.
Yeah.
Steel Ice Ground.
Yeah, that is a little surprising. I do think that's because this is just there to kill other Steel types. So, you know, I don't know if there's a Steel Ground type that was drafted. I don't know.
Steel Ground?
Yeah, does that even exist? There must be.
No, we just talked about it with Matt's team with Tusk. No, not Tusk.
Oh, Iron Treads. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that is a little surprising, but I think just trapping the steel types, and then if he wants to Terra Ice or Terra Ground or whatever, it can take the hit and take it out, and then the rest of his team can kind of do work. He does have 4 immunities to ground, 2 real ones, I guess, with Dragonite and Enamorous.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. Squawkabilly is 35 speed?
Yeah. No.
No, that can't be right.
I don't think your thing is showing speed.
No,
it doesn't.
That's wrong.
It has 92.
Yeah, this... What is this? Whose stats is this pulling from? 150 HP and 35 speed? What? Okay, I gotta look into that. Oh, this is water type. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Wait, if I go back...
They actually updated Squawkabilly.
Oh, you know what?
This generation, and we really messed up by making it a one.
You know what?
What?
Slitherwing. Okay, Slitherwing actually. This makes it make a little bit more sense. Slitherwing has 81 speed. This is Iron Moth speed, so it's pulling from Iron Moth stats. Okay, so there's a couple of Pokemon that are pulling from wrong stats. So make sure, if you're watching this, copy into your matchup document. Don't trust this document for the speed stats, I guess. Like, is Sinistcha? I mean, that's... Yeah, Sinistcha has 70 speed. So, okay. I guess that makes it a lot better, the speed tiers.
Yes.
I feel like these are all pretty accurate, though, so... I don't know what's happening with those few Pokemons. I will make an announcement in the Discord, so... Alright, let's move on to Hazel's team here. Hazel and the H-Town Hippowdons. H-Town... so Hazel, she drafted Dragapult, Glamora, Tinglu, Primarina, Fortress Tauros, Arboliva, Delphox, Mew, and Palmot. And her Terra captains are Palmot, Electric Stellar, Arboliva, Grass, Fairy, Fire, and Tauros, Normal Ghost, Stellar. I like the Electric Terra because you can Double Shock and then Double Shock again on Palmot.
Yeah,
which is
I'm
kind of
pumped
cool.
about that one. Yeah.
But overall, a really interesting team. I mean, hazards.deck on this team. Mew can set up every hazard, Glamora can set up every hazard, Tinglu can set up every hazard except for Toxic Spikes, Fortress can set up every hazard. And by every hazard, excepting Sticky Webs.
Sure.
But, so, I mean, being able to have that, multiple Toxic Spike users to pair with Hex Dragapult, I like it. I like this team a lot.
Yeah, I love this team, actually. I really love this team. I think, well, it just kind of speaks to me where, like, the lower tier Mons are going to have to put on a lot of offensive pressure, which I like. I like when that happens. And I like that, I mean, Hazel said this in the chat, but you're not going to know which Mon has the hazards, which is nice. And, I mean, Tinglu and Glamora can hit. So they're not necessarily going to be setting up hazards.
Yeah, and Mew.
I like that kind of unpredictability about it.
Yeah.
And Mew. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Delphox is pretty slept on. I think it's a really, actually, it's a fantastic low-tier Pokemon that doesn't really get used too often. Primarina, another really great defensive Pokemon. So just a really bulky team to support Dragapult. I guess my biggest worry about this team is its true setup potential, like game-breaking setup potential.
Yeah, I do think it gets walled by maybe a bulkier team.
Yeah, I mean Dragapult obviously can Dragon Dance, but then you don't get, besides Phantom Force, you don't get great Ghost type stab on the physical side. Dragapult isn't interesting. You know, I did not use it very well last season, and I think I told you before, like, I just never used Dragapult well. It's a Pokemon that just does not speak to me. It's clearly an excellent Pokemon, because in most draft leagues, it gets drafted first or second overall. Just because of its coverage, it can be physical or special. But hopefully Hazel is a better pilot for Dragapult than I was. But and I think she probably will be. But I'm hoping Dragapult can maybe have a comeback this season and do a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm also a bad Dragapult pilot, so I've pretty much given up on it.
Yes.
But I do think it's a good mon.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some really cool synergies with the Arbalova, with the Seed Sower, helps out Delphox,
Yes.
Palmot, Glimora. Great removal on the team with Fortress and Glimora. And does Mew get Defog? Question mark. It does not get Rapid Spin. I know that. But yeah, I mean the double spin really helps. Also, being able to either Mortal Spin against the Ghost type or Rapid Spin against the Steel type, that's helpful. Instead of having just one or the other, you have two options. So you can always remove, which I really like that. Also, Tinglu and Mew can phase. Tauros is an interesting Terra Captain. I hope, again, another Pokemon I hope that we can just make work this year, because it has a lot of potential, I think.
Yeah, and interesting test case for the Terra Stellar mechanic. So I think 110 speed is enough to make that good.
Yeah.
And it does have coverage.
Yeah.
So it could Trailblaze, Stellar, get the boost on Trailblaze, then start hitting.
Right.
So that could be pretty interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and if you want to run Sheer Force Special, you can get the Stellar up. Blizzard, Thunder, Flamethrower. Cool. All right, let's go on to the last team. Another newcomer to the league, Pete with the Chicago Clefables. Pete drafted Galarian Slowking, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Clefable, Alomomola, Moltres, Scyther, Hydrapple, Clodsire, Archaludon, Hattrem, and Duosion. The Terra Captains on this team are Clodsire, Poison Flying Dark, Alomomola, Water Steel Grass, and Duosion, Psychic Water Fairy. Fascinating team, a very bulky team that's going to be very difficult to break. He has 1, 2, 3 Regenerator Pokemon, 2 Unaware Pokemon. Clefable can also be Magic Guard, which is annoying. He does have the Magic Bounce with the, 4 Regenerator Pokemon with Duosions. Excuse me. Hattrem can bounce some hazards back. Hazard removal was the biggest problem with the team. He had 0 hazard removal until he dropped Ditto for Scyther. I do think dropping Ditto kind of hurts his team, because it can punish you less now for setting up. But you have to have removal on your team, and I think this team has enough hazard potential. Maybe not though. I'm just thinking this Defog. I think you would just rather have Rapid Spin on this team. But I think it's going to be a very annoying team and a very difficult team to break. Even besides the Regenerator and the Unaware, like Archaludon with Stamina, Moltres with Flame Body, and then Urshifu can just come in and do spot huge damage. Speed also kind of a problem, I guess, but not really, because I don't think the point is to be slow and annoying.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a good team.
Yeah, so I'm not huge on Stall in this meta. I also haven't seen it tried very often, so really interested to see what happens. I personally think this team gets twice as good if they dropped Rapid Strike for Clefable, which is there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get your
same roll, same typing. You get your Rapid Spin.
Yep.
It's still a great breaker.
Yep.
It's got Roost, which is still in the theme of the team.
Yeah. Well,
And yeah, just like as a tanky team that has trouble with hazards, that scares me. So
yeah. Well, and if you drop, I think you gain 2 points in that scenario.
yeah,
Quackaball is 15. No, 3 points. So you could also just consolidate Duosion and Hatrem and then pick up like a 5 or 6 pointer. That could also. I mean, he could go Chansey, or even Weezing, which actually I don't know if Weezing can defog. I know Galarian Weezing can. I don't know if that's like a weird.
I don't think regular Weezing can.
Yeah, it's just so odd to me.
That's very odd.
Or I mean, if the points work out, you could go Toedscruel too, Quackable and Toedscruel, or he could even get Ditto back. No,
I think it's good for the health of the league that there's no Terra Ditto.
I mean, I agree.
I was just thinking about that, and I was like, oh, please no.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I mean, this is an incredibly long episode. So let's maybe why don't we just, instead of really talking in depth about the matchups, let's go matchup by matchup. Me versus Steven. I'm gonna pick Steven. I think Great Tusk just destroys my team. So that's my reasoning.
Great Tusk does wreck your team, and Zapdos is scary for Pelican. So yeah, I will agree.
Sweet. Zeros versus Bobby. Ooh. I think I'm gonna go Bobby in this one. I think Hearthflame is really difficult for Zero's team to deal with. I mean, he could get Halucha off. Halucha, I think, gets kind of walled by Gliscor. So Zero's is gonna have to do some work to get Halucha into position if that's the route she goes. But I think I'm gonna lean Bobby. I think there's just too much firepower that's gonna put Zero's on the back foot.
Yeah, Valiant get something that hit Goldango.
It gets knockoff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree then. I mean, the one thing is if Blastoise, King Gambit are dealt with, I think Greninja goes kind of crazy. So I think I agree, but I think there's like a counter sweep potential there.
Yeah. Well, so Valiant, I mean, it doesn't really run these moves because you don't necessarily know Goldango is coming. But it does get also Shadow Ball, Shadow Sneak, Fire Punch, Throat Chop. So, I mean, it has ways to deal with it. It also gets Taunt, which can prevent the recover, which there's no way you're staying in and clicking Taunt in front of a Goldango. But, it's just, I'm just throwing it out there. It's a possibility. So, all right. Well, we're in lockstep so far with our picks. Next up is Sahil versus you. Oh, man. Man. This is a tough one. I purely based on matchup, I think Sahil has a slight edge. Just because I think he actually has a couple of ways to kind of deal with Chien-Pao. But then also it's like, okay, those counters still get destroyed by Chien-Pao a little bit. So it really comes down to how you use assuming Chien-Pao's coming. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
I might sit it.
I do think it kind of comes down to that, because otherwise also Kyurem, like you said, Kyurem is really tough for your team.
Yeah, Kyurem is really. I'm actually gonna pick Sahil because I tend to lose my first couple games.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I end up doing pretty well, I think it takes me some time to figure out my teams.
Sure.
And I think Kyurem's just so good into me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pick him.
Okay. Well, we're 3 for 3 picking the same people, and we've also picked against ourselves. All right.
Well, it just shows how fair and balanced we are.
Right. Exactly. I don't know if we want to use that slogan based on where it was used before. Anyway, Austin versus Critic. Oh man, this this is a complete. I don't even.
Who knows how this game is gonna go?
I,
Jesus Christ.
I know. I mean, does Charizard, does solar power Charizard come? Um. Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Thinking Critic.
I think I will go Critic 2 because Walking Wake has 0 counters on this team.
It looks awesome.
I mean, Terapagos, I guess Azumarill, well, you know what, Azumarill, there you go. Maybe he's dropping Azumarill after this week.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that does completely wall Walking Lake. So, okay.
Well, looks good too.
Yeah, Shocks is good.
You know.
You know what? I'm gonna pick Austin. I'm gonna pick Austin.
Okay, good.
I think the Azumarill factor has made me reconsider. And
You've come around.
I've come around a little bit. Okay. Matt versus TRT. Oh man, this is another just crazy game. Okay.
Also, Matt has. I think TRT's old team, last team, also had some of these mons too.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So it's interesting in that way.
Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to actually read into TRT being rusty. I don't really believe him.
I don't believe that at all. Literally not at all.
and he is also like one of the best battlers in this league. He has a few chips under his belt in really competitive leagues. I mean, historically he has been, but I do think maybe he is a little rusty, and he hasn't played much Gen 9, and I think Matt. I think Noivern kind of does a lot in this matchup.
Yeah, it does.
Oh man, it's tough though. Oh, he has Dragonite and Milotic and Magnezone. Oof.
What's the single strike switching?
There isn't one. I mean, maybe Screamtail, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Screamtail. I mean, but the thing is, he just has so many things that outspeed Urshifu. So, I mean,
Yeah.
is Urshifu gonna be Scarfed? Maybe. I mean, if it's Scarfed Urshifu, Wicked Blow does a crap ton to this
That's what I
team.
would do for him.
So,
Yeah.
you know what? Oh, man. Okay, I'm gonna go... You know, I feel like you're leading TRT, so I'm gonna go Matt.
All right. I was actually genuinely on the fence, but we can split.
Okay, you know what? I'll go TRT. I'll go TRT. You go Matt.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, Hazel versus Pete. God.
We were just talking about Hazel maybe struggling against bulky teams.
Yes. Is it weird that I feel like these teams just don't match up well into each other? Is that a thing that exists? Just because
Maybe.
Hazel has a lot of... I think Hazel has a lot of taunt. And she has a bit of phasing. I think I lean Pete though, just because of the... Well, you know what though, but the hazards.
Yeah. Yeah. So given that there's no more transaction,
Yeah.
I think I will take Hazel.
Yeah.
But if Pete were to pick up Quavo, then I would pick Pete.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna lean Hazel on this one. I think the hazards might be a little too much to deal with for Pete. And
Yeah.
I think Dragapult can...
And Terradelphox, maybe.
Yeah, I actually mixed Dragapult really powerful into this team.
Yep.
So I think, yep, I'm gonna lean Hazel. All right, let's quickly pick Kit Leader and Champion. or we can maybe do like a top 3 kill leader.
Okay, fun.
I will do. I think my champ. I'm just gonna go Steven. I think he's gonna run it back. Kill leaders. I'm gonna say. I think I'm gonna say Great Tusk because I think Steven's just gonna do a lot of work with Great Tusk. I'm gonna go Qian Pao. And then I think I'm gonna go Kyurem. I think Sahil has set up his team really well for Kyurem to get a lot of kills this season.
No, I'll just say I don't think you should pick. I'm not gonna pick Chen Pao, and well, maybe it'll be different this season. But I usually don't have him on near the top.
That is true.
I feel like mine get spread out pretty far.
You know what? I'll go with Valiant. I'll go with Valiant.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also gonna have Kyurem in my top 3.
Okay.
But I think Palafin. You usually have him on near the top, and this is what I was kind of teasing before. Prediction for your team. I think Palafin's gonna be the overall kill leader because you usually have him on near the top, and I think that it's just so hard to prep for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll go Palafin, Kyurem, and then.
I was thinking maybe Single Strike, but TRT has a lot of firepower on that team.
Single Strike was the other one I was thinking of.
Walking Away?
Chiyu too, maybe.
Yeah, Chiyu I was thinking too. Like, I don't know what on this team. Like, I think randomly Samurott could have the most kills on Steven's team. As well.
If Zero's team is good this year, then Greninja.
Yeah. You know what, Polt? If Hazel does well this season, I think Polt's gonna have to pick up a lot of kills.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take and I think you could do really well this season. So yeah, I'll take Palafin, Kyurem, and Polt. Sweet.
Yeah. All right, 12 teams. The 2 extra teams really add to the length of the episode. Thank you, Griffin, for taking 2 hours with me to discuss IPL Season 11. For those of you watching, thank you so much for watching. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube to like and subscribe. Also, share the Discord and the league with your friends. The link to the Discord will be below. It's always cool to have fans. We have the #1 Atlanta Altaria fan in the Discord. So, having more fans will be cool. With that, we are going to get out of there. We'll see you guys in week 2.